with Journey to Babel, we come into one of the most significant and a really good episode of classic Star Trek, and also a way to build on the nature and lore of the Federation and whatnot in this diplomatic mission that Captain Kirk and crew are tasked with here, where they're transporting a bunch of ambassadors from different worlds to get together. And well, immediately there's all kind of espionage, intrigue, and murder. But the significance of it all, beyond just the lore of Federation, is, of course, we get to meet Spock's parents. And this is the first that quickly, fully establishes that Spock is half human and half Vulcan. So a lot of it is a difficult distance between fathers and sons, and that's no different for Vulcans, apparently. And the mother caught in between and whatnot. And, of course, Kirk and McCoy react. McCoy just wants to have fun with it. He kind of takes some jabs at Spock and, talks to Spock's mother about what was Spock like as a kid. And she mentions his pet and describes it. I guess it's kind of like his teddy bear. Of course, it's this sort of giant dragon creature. But, of course, Bones, a teddy bear. And all that stuff. But meanwhile, Kirk, he wants to get to know Spock's parents. He's interested in that, and it tries to involve Spock into discussions with his father, and doesn't understand that, well, there's some distance here, and it's probably not the best thing. And of course, Amanda, Spock's mother, is the one that he can actually talk to about this. And so it probably figures to leave well enough alone, but meanwhile there's trouble among the ambassadors. Sarek, Spock's father, is played by Mark Leonard, who, yes, of course, played the Romulan commander. And that's an interesting thing. I mean, did Spock say "Daddy" when he saw that guy? And then you kind of wonder, well, the Romulans and Vulcans are more related than we thought. Some distant cousin of Spock's family. So Sarek's encounters his argument with what was the Telluride or whatever, this sort of, I don't know, werewolf pig looking dude in the silver clothes, and he's arguing with him about how he's going to vote on different worlds being included within the Federation and where we get their protection, and they're all grumbling about rights to the lithium crystals, which is basically the power source of Star Trek's universe, for their starships and everything. And well, it doesn't go well, and then there seems to be like an altercation. Well, there is an altercation between Sarek and this guy, and then later on he turns up dead, and he appears to have died from some sort of lethal technique known primarily to Vulcans. And so Sarek is the suspect. But through the investigation, we discover that Sarek has some sort of heart disease problem and keeps having collapses. And he had one at the time that the murder happened, so he was not capable of carrying it out. Meanwhile, he's dying, and so the only way to save him is surgery, but it's going to require a lot of Vulcan blood. And Spock says, well, I got the blood type, so there you go. You got the problem solved. It's still dangerous and whatnot, but they decide to go through with it. Well, Kirk gets attacked by the real murderer, who is a spy disguised as a Andorian. And we later learn at the end of the show that he was part of a group that works in the Orion sector, which has a bunch of unscrupulous peoples who wanted to start a war so that they could sell material and dilithium crystals and profit from the war to both sides and that sort of thing. And so they have a ship out there that's running at full power and had no intention of returning. The mission was to make sure you spark that war, and that was it. So Kirk gets in the fight with the guy, and he manages to stab Kirk, and so he's seriously wounded. And as a result, he's not fit for command, so Spock says, well, I gotta command the ship, so tough luck for Dad, huh? So, and this leads to the very powerful scene between Spock and his mother. Now, it's kind of odd because the mother was a little worried about Spock doing the surgery in the first place. He says, well, I don't want to lose both of you, you know. And so Spock's like, well, Mother, it's the only way. Sarek will die if I don't. Then his command duties come up, and he's like, well, I gotta go command the ship. So then she's upset. Well, Sarek will die, you know. So, and there's a little mishap there, but that's just, you know, she's being dragged back and forth through this, and probably not thinking too clearly. But still, she, you know, wanted him to go through with the surgery, and that you know, someone else like Scotty could take command of the ship, but that wouldn't really be the most responsible thing due to his regulations and his orders and whatnot. He's the most experienced officer to command the ship, and he quite clearly is, with Kirk being incapacitated. So it stands to reason, but of course there's this touching scene where he reveals that Amanda, and a lot of times, was Spock's only real friend on Vulcan, because he was not accepted by the other Vulcan kids and he was treated badly and all that sort of thing. And she's very upset with him to the point that she slaps him and leaves. And then you can see there's this emotional reaction from Spock. It's all very quiet and it's painful, but it is where he is, you know. And then, of course, Kirk comes to the rescue and decides to fake it so they can convince Spock to go ahead and do the surgery. So he comes up and he tells Bones, just you know, tape me up and I'll head up there, and then as soon as we get Spock in the operating room, I'll call Scotty to take over. So they're just gonna lie to him. So he goes up and Spock's fooled, so he leaves, and then as soon as he leaves, the door's shut and Kirk's like, oh, get Scotty up here. Oh my God, am I in pain? But then the enemy ship shows up. So the battle is on, and Kirk, well, of course, he can't leave the bridge then. So he fights it out, and he lures the ship in, and is able to destroy them. The old trick of playing possum and all of that. So, of course, Sarek survives and is healed and everything. But now both Spock and Kirk and Sarek are all bedridden. And Bones gets the final word. So it's a well-rounded episode. It has a lot of intrigue. I mean, yeah, there's a little confusion there between what Amanda's desires are, but that can be explained away. But how is she supposed to react? You know, chances are she could lose both, but she doesn't want to lose either. And what did she do? You know, so the rest of it is, of course, more of the aliens you see, and just that whole idea of the politics of the Federation and the dealings with the other worlds and all that. It's all good stuff of fleshing out the Star Trek universe in episodes like that. So, Journey to Babel, one of the best and very, very significant in the overall lore of Federation, and of course, Mr. Spock.
Alright, thank you for watching and listening. Why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores and have plenty of goodies for you. You know, hats, mugs, stickers, posters, all that goody stuff. Plus, you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book Night Night. Oh, yeah. Plus, you can also catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on my channel at BitChute. That's the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.